Marauder Reviews, and today the 21st door of our 2020 Advent calendar of Christmas horror movies opens. And inside we find the 1995 movie from Spain, The Day of the Beast. Directed by Alex de Iglesia, also written by Alex de Iglesia and Jorge Goracachavarria, this movie introduces us to Father Curo, played by Alex Angulo. And he is not just a priest, but he is also a professor of theology and also working on cracking a particular code. And the movie starts out with him revealing to a fellow priest of his that he has indeed cracked it, and the news is fucking grim. You see, this code that he deciphered and uncovered basically details out when the Antichrist would be born, hence the pretty much right at the start end of the world. And, well, it's coming up pretty soon. It's actually going to be happening that Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve at dawn. So, yeah, Christmas Day. Regardless, it is happening, and it is happening soon, and he knows generally where, as well. It's going to be happening in Barcelona. But aside from that, he's at a little bit of an impasse, because if you're trying to stop the birth of the Antichrist, you kind of need a little bit more of a pinpoint direction than just a big city. So therein lies the rub, and that starts him on his quest to commune with Satan. And how would he do that? You know, you can't just call up Satan and ask him, hey, how's it going? By the way, where's this taking place? I lost the directions. No, you can't even do incantations and so forth with being a priest, because you're obviously wanting something else. So instead, he has to sully his soul, so the movie starts out with him committing all manner of atrocity and sin to blemish himself in the eyes of God. Stealing, breaking shit, all sorts of infractions, pushing mimes down subway stairs and so forth. He's basically sinning as much as he possibly can. So he winds up finding himself in a heavy metal music shop to try and find the most demonic music he can to assist him in communing with the devil. And this gets him introduced to the music shop owner, and that starts the chain of events that the movie really kind of takes off from there. This is a weird one as far as being a Christmas horror movie. I mean, it very much is, because it takes place on Christmas. But it's also the antithesis of it in almost every way. We're not talking about the birth of Christ, we're talking about the birth of the Antichrist. We're not talking about peace on earth, we're talking about raising as much shit as we can so that we can actually talk to Satan. It's kind of the anti-Christmas movie, if you will. That said, I do think it was an interesting watch. I found myself enjoying myself. It was kind of broken up into three pieces there. Not really acts, but even so, it was having the priest committing these sins and trying to get the ball rolling with the storyline. Then it had the situation where he's trying to actually perform the incantation, and that just turns into a sitcom-esque series of misadventures and missteps, just trying to gather the necessary materials to do that. And then finally, the third act, which I really won't go into from there because I think that might get a little bit spoilery. This managed to walk that fine line between horror and comedy, between irreverence and faithfulness to the storyline, while also building up and propping up some pretty interesting characters to boot. If you have sensibilities of the religious sort, then you probably would want to pass on this one because it really pulls no punches in terms of the material that it deals with. If I had to give a con to this movie's pros, I would say that it's not terribly great at knowing how much information to disseminate to the audience at any given point. Some aspects of it are way too drawn out and very, very explanatory, and then some parts are very key and important, but it seems to kind of gloss over them with nary an expositional moment to be found. So we're just kind of left wondering after the fact what the fuck just happened there and having to piece it together from some contextual elements from there. And even then, it had me kind of scratching my head a little bit until I looked up some plot points after the fact when the end credits rolled. And it wasn't unimportant sideline pieces either. It was pretty critical core components of the plot, which is why I had to investigate it to figure out what the fuck happened there. I thought that they were, yeah, okay. Now it makes sense now that I looked it up. But honestly, that was kind of the movie's job. And maybe it was a translation barrier. I don't know. But regardless, me as English-speaking, English-reading movie watcher, it didn't come across with the perfect amount of information at any given point. But what I saw, I liked, and I don't think this is going to be like an annual Christmas movie watch for me, but I did enjoy it, and I do recommend the 1995 movie, The Day of the Beast. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we open up that 22nd door. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.